I wanted to start things off with Playing with Fire, which aired on April 14th, 1985, and starred teenage Gary Coleman as a pyromaniac. But that movie is literally nowhere. I checked my usual places, also YouTube, eBay, the Internet Archive, it is nowhere. As such, this is my current holy grail to find, so if any of you have a lead on where it might be, or have a tape of it just sitting in a box because you don't think anyone would care about it, please get in touch. Update. Hey, this was already produced, but I have breaking news as I'm editing here. Someone found it. It exists, and I have it now. It went up on the Internet Archive, and I was able to snag it before the Internet Archive got hacked and taken down. So, look for that soon. Anyway, back to the script. So instead we're going to start this weird side season of Spookytube with a movie I'm actually vaguely familiar with. On July 28, 1985, the movie Murder in Space debuted on the Showtime cable network, and my dad and I were right there in front of the TV when it first aired. Showtime had been hyping up this thing via a series of commercials starring Don Adams, who is not in the film itself, and the premise of the campaign was that they were going to air everything except the big reveal of the Murder in Space mystery. You would then send in a letter or postcard guessing who the killer was, and then a month or so later, they would air the movie again, this time with the ending included, and a winner would be chosen from the correct entries.
It's time once again for Ace Detective. Ace Detective.
How does a good detective solve a murder? He starts with the evidence. He throws out useless information. He eliminates suspects. He discards the obvious. He works until he's left with only one possible answer. A quart of milk, a head of lettuce, and 2 TV dinners. Love, Louise.
Don't miss the conclusion of Murder in Space, September 14th at 7:30, 6:30 Central.
More on all that in a few. But first, let's talk about this hot Canadian space thriller starring the very hunky trio of Wilford Brimley, Michael Ironside, and Martin Balsam. Try to stay cool, ladies. While the title of this film is Murder in Space, they also throw this whodunit onto the title screen, and I don't know if that's branding or a subtitle or a tagline or 9 International Space Lab astronauts are returning from a mission to Mars, and by international, we're only talking about the various white people countries apparently. The ship, which I believe is the same ship model used in the beginning of Battle Beyond the Stars, but who knows if it originated there or not. But the ship goes silent, and for 9 weeks they have zero communication with Earth. Then, 3 days away, communication is re-established, much to the relief of mission director Wilford Brimley.
We've got him, Doctor. We've made contact.
Let's go.
And just put all that missing for 9 weeks stuff out of your mind. It's immediately compelling, but yet completely irrelevant. There was no murder while they were radio silent. They didn't go through the event horizon, chaos dimension, or anything. It means absolutely nothing. A mild inconvenience at most. Literally no big deal. You thought the murder would happen during this period and now it's up to the people on Earth to solve it? No. Now, also keep in mind that this is 1985, and so much of the story is littered with Soviet Union-US relations. The 2 Russians on board the spaceship are now mad at Captain Michael Ironside, who despite being Canadian is playing an American. Their anger stems from some sort of cowboy tactics he used to get them off the surface of Mars and on their way back home. But also, the Russian lady is mad at Ironside because he won't sleep with her, despite her advances. Oh, also, Mission to Mars, forget that too. There's one scene where Canadian guy is studying a soil sample from Mars and is disappointed that it's completely unremarkable.
I don't see anything. What is it?
Looks to me like good old Canadian dirt. Kind of find in my own backyard. We travel 150 million miles to the Trivium Chirontis, and what do we find? A rock garden. Whole damn mission's been a waste of time.
And while there's some random speculation that radiation on the surface made everyone crazy and murdery, or that some Martian virus is making everyone get dead, Mars is a complete red planet herring. 9 people just landed on Mars, and none of them are remotely excited about it. Instead, everyone is preoccupied with weird beefs and bizarre love triangles. The married Canadian guy is sleeping with the Italian lady, but also slept with the Russian lady. German man seems to be into the Italian lady also, but it turns out that that's a cover because the German man is having a gay affair with the other American on board. Ironside and the Russian lady have both previous sexual history and a current sexual conflict. This one lady has a crush on the old doctor guy. You cannot run a ship like this. Everyone keep it in your pants, damn. Did the ship pass through the Viagra Nebula or something? Jesus. I was gonna say something stupider there like the Areola Cialis, but nah, not worth it. To further complicate matters, everyone has weird secrets. The gay couple, of course, because it's the 1980s. The doc has a brain tumor that he's hiding from everyone on board. Canadian guy is diabetic in addition to sleeping with every lady on the ship. The Russians might have smuggled murder weapons on board. Whoever did the background checks and psych evaluations for the crew should be fired immediately and never work in this profession again. This is the worst possible assortment of people to be cooped up together on a long-distance space mission unless you're filming a detestable reality show or something. But okay, let's get to that murder. In space.
What the hell happened? We lose them again?
No, we still got them. Most of them. What? Olga Denorenko's dead.
What are you talking about, dead? Dead how? Of what dead? For Christ's sake, people her age don't just die.
I know.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Russian lady ends up dead shortly after Ironside turns down her advances. And everyone is all, wait, what? A murder? In space? And immediately the Russians suspect the Americans and all that jazz.
Forgive me, but I have also learned that you are conducting an autopsy through space. Now, really, can such a thing have merit?
We hope so. I mean, if there is some strange virus from outer space aboard that spacecraft, and I hope to God there isn't, well, maybe we can identify it.
It doesn't help that the Russian lady is married to the Russian premier and was 2 months pregnant when she died, meaning that someone on board is the father, given the length of the mission.
It appears the killer sedated her, then used something to block her breathing passages. A pillow, a towel, a glove. We can't tell yet.
I have no idea why the Earthbound doctor lady is wearing a spacesuit, but she has that outfit on literally the entire time. On Earth. But see, okay, murder in space doesn't just mean one murder. Oh no, it's a whole crow of murders as Canadian guy ends up poisoned to death shortly thereafter.
And the leaky bathtub? And the leaky sink?
And the leaky roof.
Right. It'd be nice to spend some time together. You know, just...
And then not long after that, the German dude ends up dead, and oh good, in space we can hear people scream. I was afraid I wasn't going to get to make that joke. I was saving that one up. Shortly after that, a bomb goes off, killing the Russian dude, just as he was producing a gun from his suitcase so he could go presumably kill someone else. The explosion forces the remaining survivors into the escape pod, which amazingly seats the exact number of remaining survivors and is in no way large enough for the full crew of 9 people had something else gone wrong. Anyway, the survivors are back on Earth and quarantine? Nah, just put everyone in a big party room together. Okay, 67 minutes into this movie, and it's at this point that the movie abruptly fades out, and I'm going to assume that that's where the initial airing ended.
What is it, Andy? You know something, don't you?
No, sir. Just guessing.
Want to share your thoughts?
Not yet, sir. Not just yet.
Although it fades out exactly like that again 2 minutes later, at a much more logical breakpoint. So, I'll go ahead and say if you don't want the resolution of 1985's Murder in Space ruined for you, go ahead and stop watching this now. It's fine, I won't be mad. It's not like it's available anywhere, I think it got a VHS release, but that's that. But anyway, stop watching if you're interested. Okay, still with me? Alright, time to learn why my dad was furious at this movie when the murderer was revealed. The entire finale of the movie, the part we didn't get to see until much later, is just a conversation between Wilford Brimley and Michael Ironside, the latter of whom is in jail now apparently. The two men simply speculate about who killed who, and it's a clumsily edited clip show featuring moments from earlier in the film where a character does or says something that supports the hypothesis that either man is proposing. So there is no footage of the murders actually happening, no definitive proof of who did what, just speculation, and we're supposed to accept that as fact. And then, to make matters worse, Their speculation is that there's not just one killer, but 4. Everyone who died was killed by a different killer, which is insane. Not only was everyone on board horny for everyone else, but then they all killed each other. Did they pick these astronaut candidates for this very important mission out of a hat at the Agatha Christie Insane Asylum? They theorize that the Russian lady was killed by the German dude because she was going to expose that he was gay, since she tried to sleep with him and things didn't, work out. At some point before that, though, the Russian lady spiked Canadian guy's insulin because reasons. I've already forgotten why. I think it's because he's the one who got her pregnant. Again, I forgot. Ironside is in jail because I think he kinda sorta admits that he murdered the German dude once he deduced he killed the Russian lady because it's his ship and he's in command and can dish out whatever justice that he wants, I think. And why he staged it like another murder scene is not explained. And finally, the Russian guy who died in the explosion was killed by a bomb that was planted there by his government in case something unflattering like the premier's wife getting knocked up by a mustached Canadian ever threatened to be made known to the public. What the shit? So, as far as that contest goes, yeah, no one guessed any of this correctly. In some countries, as I recall, there were literally no winners because no one was really thinking there was going to be multiple murderers, with one murderer being a country. As a contest, yeah, go to hell. My dad was livid. I don't remember who I thought was the killer at the time, but it was probably this boom mic guy. But look, that's all over and done with, and we can't judge this as a contest. We just have to judge this thing as a film. And it's not a good one of those either. There's some very mild language, but other than the dreaded adult situations, there's no reason for this to even have aired on cable instead of broadcast TV. As genre films go, it's just a mystery. It's not bloody or scary or anything of the sort. It's just a murder mystery, and a really stupid one at that. But the sheer insanity of the entire premise of this thing more than makes it something worth a watch. I haven't even mentioned the music yet, which is consistently out of control.
You will show Olga Denerenka respect.
Of course, Colonel. My apologies.
And how has her death affected your morale?
I feel a deep sense of loss, which I know is shared by the others.
But the thing that makes this all worthwhile is when it's explained that the Canadian guy was poisoned via his insulin, and there's a computer display detailing the chemical compound that was used, and they're saying the guy who was literally sleeping with everyone was poisoned by Cooch. Come on now!